hung out with you in a really long time. How are you doing? It's been forever. I have so much to share with you. I don't know if I'll remember to share it all with you, but eventually, if we hang out a few more times, I feel like it will all come out. Currently, I have a lot to get done today. A lot to get done today. Time to get your life together. While I'm sharing so much with you, I gotta be productive. It is not a choice. It is a necessity. And also, what are these behind my ears? They're too short to go back and they just hang. There are worse things in life. Okay, first thing I'm doing is putting together a little checklist for Wentworth. When he gets home from school, he has a few tasks I want him to complete, and I feel like he just needs a little reminder. Now that we're getting back into the grind, he just needs that extra, like, hey, did you do this, without me feeling like I'm nagging him. I think having a checklist would be really beneficial for him. So I'm on Canva and I'm looking at a few of them. They have templates and that's like the easiest way for me to start doing it. So I pulled a few. Here's 1, 2, 3, and 4. I don't know where this one came from. That may have been a happy accident. It also has more examples over here. So I feel like I just pulled from there. But I love using Canva because I can totally personalize it. I think I might use this one because it has Monday through Friday. I can change whatever the heck he needs to do here. But I do like how cute these are. I am gonna have to change the background color of this because my ink, you know? Put bag away, unpack lunchbox, necessary, eat snack. He does not need a reminder to do that. So instead I'm going to write complete math. It's a math worksheet that comes home every day and it's really simple. It takes him maybe 5 minutes max to do it. Read something for 20 minutes, which is also like 20 minutes of your whole day. This whole checklist should take him less than an hour, 50 minutes, and he doesn't have to do it all at once. Ooh, do chores like that. Eat dinner, does not need a reminder for that. So I'm gonna add in do IXL for 20 minutes. IXL is so fantastic, and happy to report they are partnering with me on today's video, so huge thanks to them. Massive thanks to you for supporting me when I have sponsored content. There's always a deal involved for you if you're interested. But IXL is one of our favorite online learning programs. I've used it for like 10 years. I've used it with all of my kids, which just proves how inclusive it is considering the range of ages of my children. So it's a personalized online learning program for kids of the ages pre-K through 12th grade, covers all the bases. And IXL offers practice in the key subjects, so math, English, and it also has Spanish, science, and social studies too. It really offers so much. It helps my kids excel, huh? And it's so much more than your typical workbook or any other learning app. It is backed by over 75 scientific research studies, so you can be confident that IXL is the best choice when you're choosing a learning program for your child. I first learned about it from my kids' school because they use it in their school, and they also use it for home learning too. It is such a great resource if you're homeschooling. It's fantastic for that too. It enhances learning and it's a huge support for my kids when they're needing a little bit of extra practice. And I notice real progress when my kids are using IXL. It has so much built-in support regardless of your child's learning style. They have a lot of tools on the website like video tutorials, detailed explanations, and learning games to help guide your child. And for me, at this point in my life, the video tutorials are extra helpful, especially when my middle schooler, she's actually at a high school level in many of her subjects, so she's learning things that are far beyond my skill set, okay? But thankfully, IXL has many helpful videos to help guide her when she's needing the extra guidance. And what's so great about IXL is that they have an assessment. It's a real-time diagnostic, so your kids can go on there and answer a bunch of questions, and IXL can figure out like exactly where your child is at. And then there's a little recommended tab on there that IXL has kind of personalized questions for that specific child so that they're learning what they should be learning, and it encourages them, it pushes them, and it challenges them. And I also love that IXL provides weekly reports, and they also offer pre-made study plans. Game changer. There's lesson plans on there. There's also a recommended tab. It's super helpful. There really is so much on the website if you're wanting to see your child excel academically. I would really encourage you to poke around on the IXL website. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with everything they have have to offer. And if you're interested in signing up, you can use my link in the description box below and get 25% off of your first year, where you'll have unlimited access to all of the core subjects. It's pretty awesome, so I'm definitely adding that to his checklist. Eat dinner is on here, bedtime is on here. I think I'm gonna delete that. I don't think he needs a reminder to go to bed. Okay, pretty cute. And then there's a spot at the bottom. It's like extra tasks I did. Are chores on here? Should I be more specific? It says do chores, but I'm wondering if I should put like empty dishwasher, because that's something he helps with. Clean bedroom, tidy up your room. That should be done every day. Tidy your stinking bedroom. I feel like I should be as specific as possible. Put your dirty clothes in the dirty laundry basket. Perfect. And speaking of dirty clothes, well, I was gonna run to my laundry room and start there because Lord knows, it's sad. Just the general state of my entire house is sad. That's why I had to start in here. I need a pour spout. Anyway, I was gonna walk in there and then I realized, oh, what is that stench? I think it's me. I worked out this morning. I'll share a little clip of that. I did take a clip, but everywhere I walk, so it can't just be my entire house, it's probably me. I've got like just a certain odor that's lingering. Not a particularly pleasant one at that. So I am going to diffuse some oils to make everything smell a little nicer. Oh great, it's not working. The heck? Oh, you know what? There's like a little bead of oil, right? Woo! It moved. And speaking of this stuff, okay, my fall scents, I'm almost out of them. So I should make another order. And I almost did the other day. They were having a good sale, the Magic Candle Company oils. I just really like them, but I didn't make an order. I feel like I'm just delaying the inevitable. This one is Poison Apple, but I really like the Hocus Pocus scent. There's another one too, Pumpkin King. That one's more of like a cinnamony flavor. Hocus Pocus is just like I don't know how to describe it. It's great. This one is Poison Apple. Did I say that? Kind of like a fall leaves style scent, if you will. Oh, this is unplugged. No, it's not. Why isn't this working? There it goes. On the way to the laundry room, I'll just give you a little overview of the chaos. I mean, obviously it could be worse. I've certainly seen worse, but it could be a heck of a lot better. I'm not sure this has ever been worse, and there's more on the bottom, and I'm pretty sure there's some in the dryer, and I know there's still some to be washed. You can judge me, it's okay. I really just dropped the ball on laundry, you know, and it's there is no justification, there is no excuse. I could list a few excuses. But here I am living with the consequences, and now I'm just going to tackle it. At one point in time, like, you know, people were coming in here trying to do stuff, but it just like some of the towels are folded. But I'm at the point now where it's a disruption toward, you know, in our life, because it's like, oh, do you have socks? Oh, do you have your shirt that you need to wear? Oh, where is your volleyball uniform? No one knows where anything is because it's all under here. Someone was looking for something this morning and I said, oh, you know, okay, I'll do the laundry today. And so here I am doing it. Thanks for hanging out with me while I get some stuff done, you know. Those mundane tasks that I've been putting off are way too stinking long. And you know what it is? Okay, I'll really share with you a couple of things. Oh, we went to a wedding. Oh, what a fantastic time that was. Should I talk more about it? I feel like I will maybe later. Maybe I'll forget. But the reason why I've been putting off laundry is, and I need your company to like be in this space right now, is because probably a week or two ago, I came in here to get something out of the dryer that I had just washed for Meredith because, the joke's on me. Remember last year where she would only wear pink to school? Pink school shirt, pink pants, pink socks. Head to toe, the girl was pink every day of her life. Well, come this summer, I was like, oh, ordering school t-shirts. I ordered 8. Count them, 8 pink school t-shirts for that little tot. And you know what? I thought, yeah, you got your life together, Kim. You got it. You got the pink shirts that she's gonna want every day. Well, you should also know, Eleanor doesn't have a bin. She's gonna make a pile. She does have a bin, but it's in her room, and she actually has 2. Short story long, Meredith this year, no pink t-shirts. Actually, no t-shirts in general, because I ordered a couple purple ones for her. We also have yellow, blue, green, red, every color under the rainbow, because, you know, all of my kids have gone, so she's got hand-me-downs from different colors. No t-shirts. You know what she wants to wear? Dresses. Great. Her school has school dresses. That's fantastic, but ask me how many dresses we own. 3. Precisely 1 in her size. So I'm washing these 3 dresses on her feet. I'm like, this is Groundhog's Day. Is this real life? Needless to say, I need to order some school dresses that are in her size, but they don't come in for a couple of months. It takes them a while. I feel like I'm not getting anything done because these bins are full and I should probably put them away before I start all of this. I'm not gonna do it. I don't know who these are. Eleanor. Okay, the moral of that story is, hey, just when you thought you have this like parenting thing figured out, curveball, and then nope, don't know anything, I'm an idiot. So that's how the first few weeks of school have gone for me personally. Oh, I didn't even tell you why I've been avoiding here. So one day I went in here to get the dress out of the dryer that I have to wash every other day because she only has, you know, a couple of them, and God forbid the color of the dress that she wants to wear is dirty. I'm like, trying to convince her otherwise, you know. So that one morning when I was coming in here for the dress, I saw a bug. A big, like, it's a cat, really. They're so big and I hate them and I am terrified of them. I don't like them. No, thank you. I saw it right there. I skadoodled, I did a little scream, and I ran away. And then when Alex woke up, I said, there's a bug, and he couldn't find it anywhere. And I was like, well, I know it's in here somewhere and I'll probably find it when I do the laundry. And that's really the reason why I haven't done anything. Okay, gotta figure this out. This says Wolfgang, but it's actually Wentworth. Okay, now I can rock and roll. Hey, you want to chit chat some more? Because I have plenty to say. I went to the dentist the other day, and typically, you know, the last few years I've been to the dentist pretty uneventful. I go, they clean my teeth, it's a good time. I get to just sit there, and it's a little uncomfortable, but it's like, whatever. It's honestly like the most relaxing. I mean, it's basically the spa for me. I've never been to a spa, but I can imagine it's something similar. But recently we switched dentists. It's closer to I don't know. Alex wanted to switch and I'm just, you know, along for the ride. So it was my first time at this new dentist. They cleaned my teeth, they did x-rays, all this stuff, you know, the normal hoopla. And the dentist comes in and he says, hey, has anyone ever talked to you about getting braces? I said, yeah, almost every dentist that I've ever had. And he continued to go on and said, well, I think it's time to really consider this option because your teeth are falling out. That's what I should title this video. My teeth are falling out. I'm a couple weeks removed, so now I can talk about it a little less passionately, but I was really upset about it at first. Not the fact that I need braces, because like, who cares, that's whatever. But it's so layered, and the reason why I would get so hyped up about it is because it goes back and cycles back. So in order for you to really get a full understanding of my emotions around it, I feel like I need to share the full story with you, okay? And I don't know in what chronological order to share it in. Said you need braces. Your bottom teeth are losing bone, and it's not because my gums or teeth are unhealthy, it's because of my bite. I have an overbite that's, I don't know, pretty severe, apparently. And as you can imagine, I've had this overbite my entire life, and I'll circle back in a minute. So he said, I'm losing bone because of the way that I'm biting and chewing food. And so I guess my bottom teeth are hitting the roof of my mouth, and it's adding so much more pressure when I chew, every time I chew. So now every time I chew, I'm like, oh my gosh, my bones are falling out of my mouth. So that's adding pressure. Not only is it adding pressure to compensate, my teeth, my bottom teeth should be, you know, they should be kind of straight. They're leaning forward this way to try to compensate, and my top teeth, because I have an excessive amount of space between them, hence my overbite. So my bottom teeth are kind of leaning forward, and my top teeth are kind of leaning this way to try to make up for the space, because that's how they should be. They should be touching, apparently. I don't know. So since I have all of that going on, I'm losing bone at a rate in which I shouldn't be losing, like 30% is how he explained it. And my old dentist mentioned it at, you know, one of our first, oh, have you thought about braces, Invisalign? And they don't do it at their office, so I don't think he was pushing it. And I was like, oh yeah, you know, as a kid, I think I was told, like, oh, but I never got them, and, you know, my parents, whatever. And so even my last dentist said, oh, it's probably something that you should look into, and gave me some referrals. And of course, I'm like, you know, I put myself on the back burner. Oh, I'm fine, my teeth are fine, and I'll be fine. Apparently, I'm not fine, because my teeth are falling out. And so the way that this dentist explained it really just kind of hit me differently. So I was like, okay, I'll call my insurance and I'll like re-up my plan and, you know, get a plan that covers orthodontic work, because I don't have that. And it's not just me that needs it, it's Avelina, because she has my overbite as well. And I'm pretty sure Eleanor does. They have their appointments coming up in a few weeks. So I asked about them, and he's going to assess them obviously when they get in. Another thing that he mentioned is that since I'm of the age, because I mentioned my kids and I was like, oh, should I get it done sooner for them? Like I told him their ages, and he's like, yes, the sooner the better, because you want to fix the issue before it becomes a problem. Exhibit A. So since I'm a little bit older than the age of 13, he said, well, on top of needing braces, you will also likely need a permanent retainer on your bottom teeth, because that's the bone issue there. I guess the bones on your bottom teeth are shorter than the bones on your top teeth, which is, anyway, maybe it's a personal problem. I don't know. But he said, I'm going to need a permanent retainer, because even just they could shift within the matter of a day. And God forbid I forget to put in my retainer that night, like my bottom teeth could shift enough because they're settled in already in the position that they've been in for so long. We talked about a permanent retainer, you know, pros and cons and stuff like that, which is whatever, like I'll deal with what I have to deal with. But what's getting me is the dealing with the issue before it becomes a problem. I can distinctly remember having the conversation because, you know, I've gone to the dentist almost my whole life. I went like 10 years without it because we were newlyweds and we don't have dental insurance, and that's not included and stuff, and gosh, it's expensive. And then when we became parents ourselves, we decided like, okay, I guess we're real adults now and we need to get this for our children. And we've had dental insurance for the past, you know, 7 or so years. So I can distinctly remember my dentist growing up when I was a child having the conversation with my parents like, oh, she has an overbite, she should get braces. And I remember this. It's funny the things that you remember. And even before having this conversation, it's not like it, you know, brought it back up to memory. I just remember, because my kids talk about braces, whatever. So they were like, oh yeah, she'll have to wear a retainer and blah, blah, blah. But guess who never got braces? Me. And so that brought up some stuff from my childhood where I'm like, oh man, you know, I neglected again. And my parents are great and they did the best that they could with what they had. And I don't know why, I don't know the reason behind their why of me not getting braces. Could be a multitude of reasons. Maybe they thought it wasn't bad enough. Maybe they were too expensive, because braces are expensive, as I am about to find out. But it just brought up so much. I'm like, man, like, you know, it's just another thing that I have to deal with as an adult that should have been dealt with when I was a child. But since it wasn't, now I have to figure it out, just like everything else that I've had to figure out as an adult. But not only do I have to figure out for myself, I have to do it for my children to make sure that they are unburdened in the future by a problem that should really be a non-issue if it is dealt with properly at the time that it should be dealt with. You know what I mean? So in conclusion, I'm going to be starting a little GoFundMe because, you know, I'm just kidding, I'm not. But do you know how expensive braces are? So I mean, we'll figure it out. of course. But it's like, I'm not exaggerating, $6,000. For Invisalign braces, like wire braces might be a little less expensive. I haven't looked into that yet for my kids, but $6,000 times 3 was not on my bingo card for 2024. Oh, and last thing I'll say about this, because you're probably like, oh, okay. You've had worse wisdom teeth stories. I know about your two-tooth tail. Is that the type of dental insurance that I have, because I'm self-employed, in the state of Florida specifically, I am ineligible to get the tier that covers orthodontic work unless I have 10 employees under me. I don't have, will you be my employee? I don't have that. So insurance is out of the question, and I called them to just see like, hey, can I get a quote? Like is it even worth it to get insurance that I have to pay extra for a whole year? Like, would I even be saving any money? And I can't even figure it out, and she couldn't even give me a quote because I live in Florida and the type of insurance I have. So, you know, needless to say, we gotta shop around, we gotta do all that stuff. It's gonna be a little time consuming, but that's life. So, what are some frustrations that you're having to deal with these days? It's true what they say, you know, if it's not one thing, it's another. And that's just the cycle of life. All right, I am going to bust through this laundry as fast as humanly possible. Ready, set, go. I think I'm gonna add a load first though.
Okay, I thought you needed a little break of looking at the laundry room. I know I needed one. So I thought I'd include the footage I got of me working on this morning. And wow, you know what? I was running behind, I was late, but I said I'm going anyway. And the only real spot was right up front. And it's like, at least there was a spot for me. Normally this class isn't that busy, so I wasn't rushing to get out of the house. Normally my Monday, Wednesday classes are busy. But ironically enough, on Wednesday I was running behind as well. That's just the theme of my life. And so I was one of the last ones to even get a step in that class. I was like literally right next to the mirror up front. But it's always a good day when I get to have time at the gym. I go for an hour. I do different classes depending on what day, but typically it is a group exercise class, whether it's a HIIT class. This happens to be a Les Mills body pump class. It's more weight focused, weight training and that kind of thing. And I really enjoy it. I think it's so important for everyone to get out and move their bodies and lift something heavy. It's so good for our bodies. Everything. I mean, literally go look up. I've shared with you, I've Googled it in the past, like the positive effects it has on us. And it's just so fantastic. I am just getting back into it. Slowly but surely, here I am, you know, crawling, making my way to the gym every day. And it's not easy. And my body is not used to it, so I'm sore. It's always hard getting back into a routine when I've been out of it for so long, but I'm doing my best. I'm going when I can, and I'm always grateful for the time that I do get at the gym because it's like one of the only time, it's like my me time, you know what I mean? One of the only things I do for myself. So it always feels, it hurts so good is what I say. I make a lot of modifications because I'm just getting back into it, but that's the beauty of working out. You meet yourself at the level you're at and just do your best, and that's all I'm doing too. Speaking of my best, you might not think I'm doing my best if you look around my house. And so I'm back in my laundry room doing the best that I possibly can. And you wouldn't tell by looking at it. So a mountain of there's always going to be another mountain. I'm always going to want to make it move. Miley Cyrus, The Climb is such a jam and a half. It's so fantastic. And that's how I feel every time I look at my laundry mountain. I'm like, oh, we meet again. How is this happening so often? I put Wolfgang down for a nap so I could do this. So, you know, if some time has passed. And that's one of the reasons I'm like, this is why the mountain piles up. It's like life, you know, other things get in the way and are more important. So eventually I have to tackle it, and that's what I'm doing today. And sad to report, I didn't get it all finished. Like I got it all sorted, but I only got to putting a couple of baskets away. I helped Eleanor with hers. I put Meredith's away and maybe a few towels. But otherwise, my laundry room is still looking kind of rough. Okay, I'll circle back to it in another video, maybe the next one I do. But I will say I filmed so much in this day that I probably could have made 2 videos out of it, but here we are just getting a lot done in one day, and that's okay. So, oh, those those are my cute little granny panties, the Spanx. Do you guys have Spanx? I found them at the thrift store. They were new with tag, and they were name brand, like Spanx. That's a good brand, right? And they were like $3. Oh, sorry. I'm choking on my pretzels and hummus. I'm not even eating it. I stopped eating it like 10 minutes ago. The residual crumbs in my mouth. The Spanx I got from the thrift store, crazy. Do you guys wear them? I wore them because I like under the wedding dress. I was like, what do I don't know what I wear. So I found those and I thought, you know what, that's a great option. So I was just holding those up against my body. And I don't, some people are like, oh, this is so great. It's like shapewear, apparently. And I know I know there's this viral bodysuit style of shapewear that like, it makes me laugh. The people that I've seen on Instagram do it. They're like, oh, these jeans don't button. And then they put on this magic bodysuit and they're 2 sizes smaller. I'm like, yeah, but how do your organs feel after a little bit? You know what I mean? Okay, so I went on Instagram because sometimes I save things to share with you guys. And I'm going through some of the clips, and this is one of my favorite ones recently that I've saved. So I will share it with you. Just a couple words of wisdom. Okay, this is from Robin Williams himself. It's actually one of his roles from a movie I don't think I've ever seen. So I'm excited to dive a little deeper and maybe watch the whole movie. But his character says, sometimes you can have a whole lifetime in a day and never even noticed that this is as beautiful as life gets. I just feel happy that I noticed. I had a beautiful life today. Oh, he goes on and he's like, what a day. And my goodness, if Robin Williams isn't one of the treasures that we got from our childhood. You know what else? Okay, that kind of blends in with this movie I watched the other day. The other morning I woke up at like 2:30 a.m. Not on my own accord, obviously. A child woke up and was up for a while. They were not feeling well, and then I was up with them until they fell back asleep, and then I'm awake, and what the heck do I do? So I turned on the movie Click with Adam Sandler, and you might think, oh, comedy. No, man. What is even that movie? It is wild. It is wild is all I'm going to say if you haven't seen it. I remember seeing it when it first came out and I was like, whatever. I didn't really pay attention. I have cinema narcolepsy. So typically when a movie comes on, I just fall asleep. So that's what I was hoping would happen at 4:30 in the morning. But instead I ended up staying awake watching this movie because I was so enthralled in the plot. So basically what happens in a nutshell is he's like frustrated with life and all the little things. He just wants to get his work done and excel and, go on and just skip all the boring stuff. It's like the boring stuff. And so he goes to Bed Bath & Beyond and finds this remote from, oh my gosh, Christopher Walken. He shows up out of nowhere. And with like the dynamic duo I never knew that I needed in my life. But Christopher Walken is such a gem. And so he's got this magic remote and you can pause life and fast forward life and go back in time and relive something. So anyway, Adam Sandler gets this remote and he starts fast forwarding through arguments that he has with his wife, through, the boring dinners from when his parents come over for dinner and he's like, oh, this is so boring. So he fast forwards through that. And then what ultimately ends up happening is this remote learns his patterns, like the algorithm, and starts fast forwarding his life for him, without him telling the remote to do it. And so he starts missing out on really important milestones in his life. And before you know it, like his life has passed him by. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it because it's that deep. The movie's so good. I'm telling you, an Adam Sandler movie. And so he, life passes him by. His father passes away. His son goes through some stuff and his kids are grown. And all of a sudden he's like, what the heck? He gets a divorce and like all this stuff happens, right? And it's just really beautiful. And it's just a great reminder of like, yeah, I have to do housework and this is dumb. But man, aren't I so lucky to have all of these dishes to wash because I'm feeding all of these lovely kids that I have, that I get to raise? Like that does life get any better than this? Like these boring things? Yeah, they're dumb. But that's part of life. And sometimes I make dinner. I'm like, oh, dinner guy. And then sometimes my kids come in the kitchen with me and have conversations with me while I'm making dinner. I'm like, this is it. You know what I mean? This is life. And it's chaotic and beautiful and I was going to say messy, happy, free, confused, and lonely at the same time.
It's officially September, and that means it's crock-pot season. I think, I'm not really sure. That's what the internet says anyway. So I'm gonna throw together some slow cooker garlic parmesan chicken stew. Big day, we'll see if it lives up to the hype. I think I have all the ingredients out. I do have to do some chopping. And once my kids get home, we'll see if I have my life together enough to make some homemade bread. Because you can't really eat stew or soups without a nice crusty piece of bread. I'm not even sure I have yeast. This sink is so convenient. All right, so the recipe starts out with, of course, some chicken. And I have had this in my freezer. It's the catalyst for this recipe. They are bone-in? Wait, I'm pretty sure they're bone-in chicken thighs, but I only have one package. It's been sitting in there for, man. And so I'm also going to throw in just a package of boneless chicken thighs. And the bone-in chicken thighs are gonna give it a lot of flavor. And then it calls for 3 carrots, thinly sliced, but I think I'm going to dice mine up. That's just how I'm gonna do it. So I don't know how big that lady's carrots were, but I feel like these 2 honkin' carrots are good enough. If I feel like I need more, I've got 1 peeled ready to go. And then I'm gonna chop up a celery, and it only calls for 1 stalk. Mine are looking sad, so I grabbed the stalks in the middle with the leaves on them because there's a ton of flavor in these leaves. And if you don't like the texture of celery, or you don't wanna add it, or you don't have it, you can add celery seed. You might have that on hand because it's more shelf stable, so I'm gonna throw those in. And then of course, an onion. That trio is the base of any good soup or stew. It calls for half of an onion. I might go crazy and add the whole thing. We'll see though, because this is a really big GMO onion. Ooh, just this mere paw smells so dang good. Oh, I forgot, it calls for garlic. The easy way I get the bulbs out is to just cut the root off. See, people do it all kinds of different ways, but that's the easiest. And then they just kind of crumble apart. And I'm gonna grab the hunky chunky ones in here. So I've got 6 hunky cloves, and I'm just gonna peel these and dice these up. Just smash it, and then paper peel comes off pretty easily. Just smash it. Like so. It can be a little time consuming to peel garlic like that. It's raining outside. Does anyone else get like a little happy, like, oh, maybe this sport might be canceled because it's raining? It's not too bad though, so probably not. Anyway, the labor of love is worth it because in the end, the fresh garlic has such a better flavor than the powdered stuff. But you know what? If you don't have it, use what you have. Or if you don't like garlic, I don't know, go see a doctor because there's something wrong with you. I'm gonna add this garlic right in. Yeah. Ooh, okay, so it calls for thyme. And whoopsies. I'm gonna use some fresh thyme, and talk about a pain in the butt. Is this worth it to take the leaves off of the thyme stems? You know what I'm gonna do? I see other people like bundle, my hands are so sticky from the garlic, the thyme leaves are sticking to me. I see people kind of like take a bundle and not sew it, but tie it up in some string, but I don't have any butcher string or whatever the heck it's called. Twine. Also reminds me of Thanksgiving. Like, who cannot wait until Thanksgiving? I'm so excited, not to rush anything because enjoy every moment and all that good stuff, but man, there's something just so special about the holidays, and they go by so fast, and before you know it, it's like summertime again, and people are like, oh. All right, well, that's not enough, but it's good enough. I'm also going to add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and some Italian seasoning since I barely got any thyme out of there. I also have like 3 cups of water over here, and I'm just gonna throw some better than bouillon in there because I'm fresh out of my chicken stock. I need to make more. And, oh wait, there's so much more to add here. That's not mixing in. I don't really care, so I'm just gonna dump it in. All the flavors will eventually meld. I'm also needing to chop up some potatoes. I have these red potatoes that I'm just going to quarter probably. 1 pound of them. I don't like the way that potatoes cook in a crock pot. Just something about it. They come out just not, I don't like it, okay? I don't know how to explain it. I think they're disgusting. That's why I kind of avoid stews and stuff, like beef stew in the crock pot. I just leave the veggies out. I just cook the meat and then I roast the veggies separately. But I'm willing to give it a second chance. So, okay, here it is, a true 1 crock pot meal where everything's in here. And since I'm here, I am gonna add the other carrot and the other half of the onion. So let me cut that up really quick. All right, here we are. And can I tell you, this alone just smells so great already. Where's my spoon? I literally just had it. Get out of, oh, it's in here. All right, I'm not sure if I need to cover the potatoes or what's happening, but I think that's plenty. Low and slow is the way to go. But I'm putting it together late, so I'm doing high. Now I have another mess to clean up. We have a busy night tonight. I mean, like if it stops raining. So it's always nice to know that I have a meal at home waiting for us. Okay. Good enough.
I don't know if is it the voiceover time yet? I don't know if I mentioned it, but in the crock pot, there are a few things to add to it. So I do that at the end of the video after it's cooked for a while. So I have moved on to the bathroom. I thought I got something from the thrift store. If you didn't see my thrift store haul, it's pretty amazing. And I got this little thrifted floral vase kind of 70s looking thing. And I thought, oh, I'll put it in Wentworth's bathroom. Except for I already have like a floral thing in there, so it just didn't work out. So that's fine. I'll figure out something else. Not that it even needs something, but I thought I'd give it a little fall touch. And I'm cleaning up in here and I clean the walls. Because the walls are disgusting, especially in a bathroom, especially if you have boys, like things can go awry. And so I kind of mopped it with my hands. My goal for that day was to get everything tidy up and then at the end of the day, clean my floors fully, like sweep, mop, vacuum, that kind of thing. Well, mostly just mop. Because I vacuumed and sweep, like we vacuum and sweep often. It's just the mopping part doesn't always get done often. And I haven't used my Bissell in a really long time because I left stuff in it and I still haven't cleaned it out. I am really dreading it. I might just buy a new one at this point. I'm like, I don't even know. Or a new canister at least. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. If you have one and you haven't cleaned out the bin, yeah, you know how it can literally smell like a porta potty, like a dumpster. It's so gross. So what was I saying? Okay, so I cleaned one bathroom, moved on, cleaned the other bathroom. I'm doing my best to just go around my house one room at a time and just kind of give it a mother's touch, if you will. And I feel like I got to a lot of spaces around my house. I typically like to clean the more common areas because obviously that's what we see most often. And this was an area of contention. We had that Lego bin out for a while and Magneti Tiles. My Meredith brought that out a few days ago. And I mean, she was just enthralled in the Magneti Tiles. And I almost forgot how amazing those Magneti Tiles were until she was playing with them for so long. I didn't edit that out, but that's okay. We're still hanging out, okay? And so Magneti Tiles, such a great gift if you're looking for a Christmas gift or whatever. Like, sorry, everything's dinging. I don't know how to stop it. I don't have friends. It's just Joanne Fabrics. My best friend Joanne is what she is in my phone. She sends me coupons and I never use them. So I'm such a bad friend. I never even visit her. Okay. The Magneti Tiles. And I went down and wiped down some of those chairs. And my gosh, were some of those chairs so stinking disgusting. I wiped down the table, which I used to do every night. And I just have gotten off track. I really need to be better about my routine. But it's like baby steps. You know, sometimes I'm better about some things. And then sometimes I'm, it's a balancing act. And sometimes the balls fall. But I'm doing my best around here. And some days are better than others. And this day was better than yesterday because I got a lot of tidying up done. And there's Play-Doh. We typically play Play-Doh. Like our morning basket we bring out, we'll do like paint or Play-Doh or really anything. Reading and letters, all that kind of stuff. Counting bears on this little table right there. If you can see what I'm pointing at. It's the coffee table. And wow, what an oversight getting this mostly white carpet because there's Play-Doh all in it. As at some point someone got blue chalk and that's all in it. So I'm just slightly moving it, getting things out from underneath it because inevitably things roll underneath it and like dry Play-Doh bits go under there. And it's so satisfying vacuuming this thing because you can just hear it, sucking up all the dried Play-Doh bits. I'm like, yeah, that's the stuff. So it's nice. But from afar, I mean, you can't really see any Play-Doh stains or anything. So you know what? I'm pretty happy about the purchase. I actually love this rug. I think it's fantastic. I got it from Wayfair if you're interested in looking for, I think it's like a Joanne brand. And it's very large and in charge, bigger than the last one that we had. And as actually matches this rug by my front door. And it's obviously in a different color. It's just like the opposite shades, so they're both blue and white, but this one is mostly blue and the other one is mostly white, if you catch my drift. So the front door, what's happening over here? I don't even think I vacuumed my office, which I probably should have. Oh yes. Okay. I was like, why did I slow this clip down? I know there's a purpose for it. So I ordered finally the attachments to my vacuum so I can like suck up between my sliding glass doors. I thought, yes, that's what I'm going to do next. It's going to be great. And there's just little where you can't get into corners and grooves. And I vacuumed my car out the other day and I was like, man, I really need an attachment where I can get into these little nooks and crannies. Yep. And unfortunately, I thought I had my life back in track. No, because it doesn't fit. The universal attachment is not universal, sad to report. So that's going to go on my list of Amazon returns if I ever get to it. To be honest, hardly ever get to returns. It's just like, I never go to Whole Foods. I'm never going there to return stuff. Take a break from cleaning a little bit, and while I have a second with two hands, if you can see the floor over there with a bunch of mini chocolate chips, you didn't see anything, okay? I'm going to throw together breakfast for tomorrow. I have found that we have yet to get into a good routine when it comes to waking up. It's like hit or miss. Will my kids wake up? It's like the slot machines. You never know. Some of them are great and some of them need some work and none of them are the same the next day. Breakfast can be a little bit of a challenge, so I'm just going to prep this breakfast beforehand. And these are, I forgot the name, something like apple snickerdoodle muffins. And I was like, yeah. And so it calls for a diced apple. And against my better judgment, I'm dicing this apple. In my head, I know I should be shredding it. But what's done is done. So I'm gonna keep on keeping on. I am giving it a very petite dice. So the apples, so cute. Okay, these muffins, where am I? Shred the apples. That's my one takeaway from this. If I were to make this again, I would shred those apples, okay? It's a half a cup of oil or butter, maybe oil, I don't know, the recipe calls for oil, and 3/4 cup of sugar. Mix that together, and I of course have my lovely helper here, and that's why I'm doing a voiceover, because he woke up from his nap and I was like, okay, I guess we're making muffins together. And I think at this point the kids are home from school too, because I see them in the background. I don't even know, like the days are long, you guys, but at the end of the day I'm like, was that just one day? I feel like I've lived 5 days, so sometimes I forget what even happens, it's been so long. And then I added a couple of eggs, a little bit of vanilla, and he's going to town mixing it again. Isn't it just like so cute? Just let them be little. Let them explore. Let them help you in the kitchen. I know sometimes it's frustrating. Listen, I get it. If you're on a time crunch, you're like, oh my gosh, I could have made 5 batches by now. Okay, I added 1.5 cups of flour. Let's say 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, a little bit of cinnamon. Doesn't matter. Add a whole teaspoon. It literally doesn't matter. They say baking is a science, but I have messed up so many recipes. Sometimes I don't even use measuring utensils and it comes out just fine. Bake it at 411 degrees. Literally, it's not that deep. People want to get too serious. You're making food in the kitchen. It's going to be fine most of the time. And if it's not, you get a chance to make it again. You eat it and you're like, it's okay. Like these muffins, they were okay. If I would have shredded the apples, they would have been awesome. But this isn't it. Okay, you add the diced apples in. It's just one diced apple. It's not that big. It's not even that big of a batch. It probably makes around 12 muffins. But I ended up using this amazing pan that I got last year from, I think it's a Williams-Sonoma pan, but I got it from Home Goods. And I got this one and a bread pan. And I just think it's so festive, so lovely. I keep looking for chances to use it. So that's what I ended up doing with this one. And It made 12 of these, and they're actually pretty large. So I would say they're close to like 12 muffin sizes. Well, bigger than mini muffin, smaller than a normal muffin. But aren't they darling? The acorn, the pumpkin, a fall leaf, and a turkey, which really set me off. I think this is such a darling set. I had someone ask me where I got it, and then they said they found a similar pan on Amazon. Of course, Amazon has like everything. So to finish off these muffins, if you will, I melted some butter, and then I combined some cinnamon and sugar in a bowl, separate bowls. And I dipped them. You can brush the tops of the muffins with butter. If you're doing muffins, I just dipped these. I thought it would be easier and faster. And so, dip it into the butter and then the cinnamon and sugar mixture. And you've got like a snickerdoodle type of muffin. Shred the apples. I'm telling you, unless you like that like bite of apple, it's not for me. I'm not in love with the texture, but I did really like how these muffins turned out. They just could have been better is all I'm saying. Delicious. And the kids really enjoyed them too. And it's always nice to have a little treat out for them.
If you hear that sound, it can only mean one thing. I'm about to listen to a very cool podcast. And while I do that, I figured I would be productive. Usually a weird song. It's called Reproduction. Grease 2, anyone? Cheers. Happy cleaning. Happy day. I'm going to clean out this fridge here. It is atrocious. There's a lot of leftovers in here, and Avelina just pulled some out. Like, is this still good? I'm like, probably not, okay? Because I can't remember the last time I made it. And that is an indication that is likely bad. Everything in here. I'm like, what happened? Why aren't people eating? We had people over this weekend, so I made like a ton of food, and then like none of them ate anything, and I was like, oh, what the heck? And by this weekend, I mean like 5 days ago, and I feel like I've lived 7 lives in the past 5 days, which is like good and bad, that we've had a lot to do, and a lot has happened, but I need to tackle this. So, I don't want to.
Here we go. Cleaning the fridge. So much fun to clean the fridge out. I had so many leftovers. Have you ever heard that thing, heard it or read it somewhere? It's like when you put leftovers into a container. Oh gosh, what's it like? Like, oh, I don't want to throw the leftovers. Oh, I'm completely blotching this, but essentially it goes something like, I don't want to throw the leftovers away now, so you put it into Tupperware to throw it away later. It's like, that's how it is. Typically, we'll eat them for lunch or whatever, but we never, well, not never. We always have like a little bit left over, And so I'm just cleaning the fridge. And I was going through and everyone's like, we have nothing to eat. I'm like, our fridge is packed. So I knew I had to go through it. And that's taco meat. I love taco meat. I love leftover tacos. Why didn't I get to it? Why? I don't know. I don't know why. There's been a lot going on lately, So... man, I'm really upset about that taco meat that got moldy. Some yogurt was expired, some sour cream. We had like 3 things of sour cream in there. I'm like, this is so unnecessary. So I really need to get on top of my meal plan and stick to it, because some days I'll wake up and be like, oh, what's for dinner, And so I just have to be better about it. There's, it's always an improvement. You always got to make improvements in your life. So funny enough, I cleaned out the fridge and there was so much empty space. And I could have deep cleaned that bottom. I could have taken the drawers out because honestly, they probably needed it. But I had bigger fish to fry this day and other things to do. So I just gave it a good wipe down, and good enough is as good as a feast kind of situation. And I popped in things that were still good. Did you see that pumpkin pie? I ran into Costco one day. We were on the way home and just passing by Costco. And so did you know they don't sell churros anymore? Eleanor really wanted a churro and they didn't have any. So we jumped in and Avelina was like, oh wait, do they have pumpkin pie yet? And they did have pumpkin pie. So we picked one up, and I'm actually surprised at how much pumpkin pie everyone is eating. I'm not a fan of pumpkin pie, but apparently everyone else is. So I'm combining this bowl with just a little bit of warm water and Murphy's soap scrub, wood scrub. I don't know what it's called. Oil. It's definitely Murphy's, some kind of wood oil. It's great. and I'm wiping down the stairs. This is typically a kid chore. We have one of the kids do this chore, but the stairs were looking not so great. So I said, you know what? It needs a mother's touch. I also tried to go along the wall and the railings, but I recently just did that. So I thought, yeah, it's good enough. It's fine for now. And so I'm just going down every stair and just giving it a good wipe down. I do one, I use the same cleaner for my cabinets. I feel like it doesn't streak or leave any residue, and I just think it leaves it looking nice and fresh and clean. And that's exactly what it's supposed to do, right? So I just take one rag with the damp stuff and I scrub it along, and then I take well, it starts out dry rag just to wipe up the excess. And that works out for me. I don't know how other people clean their stairs. I feel like a lot of other people have carpet on their stairs. I'm actually thankful that we have very little carpet in this house. Actually, the only permanent carpet we have is upstairs, and with all the allergies that the people have in our houses, like, you know, different family members, it's just so much easier to stay on top of it and keep control of it when you have like wood or tile or, you know, something easy that can be swept up and it's not like embedded into carpet, you know? The area rugs can be replaced, and I do my best to stay on top of those and clean those, but even after a while, those are, they're disgusting and pretty hard to clean, you know, keep clean. So that was done. The stairs are done. Fantastic. Moving on. This was dinner, and honestly, you could eat it just like that. It's like chicken noodle soup, if you will, but without noodles. It has the potatoes. So good. And I ended up finishing the recipe. So I can't remember what it called for. 2/3 cup of half and half or heavy cream. I honestly can't remember. I just used what I had, and Parmesan cheese. I had a few handfuls of Parmesan cheese. And I think that's it. I want to say it called for another ingredient too, but that's all. I'm pretty sure that's all I added. And this was fantastic. This was so good. And I loved the potatoes in it. I loved it all. And I love you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and watching and, hey, you know, doing stuff. I hope you got some stuff done around the house. Hope I gave you some motivation to get some stuff done. And if you want to, subscribe, put a little happy in your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.